Welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Betches, not to be confused with Books and
Betches.
I'm Kristen, and with me I have
Erica.
Maria.
This is a book podcast. We spoil, we swear, and we talk about sex. So if any of those things bother you, leave now.
And forever hold your peace.
I'm so exhausted, guys. I just moved. My boyfriend and I bought a house. I literally moved 2 days ago, and I spent all day today even trying to move things. So I'm exhausted. So please help me get through this, okay, Erica, Maria?
I just opened up what I thought was where I wrote notes on this book.
And there's nothing.
And there's nothing there.
So this is going really well so far. This week, we're talking about Burn For Me by who?
Ilona Andrews.
Ilona Andrews.
What do you call her?
Ilona Lewis.
Why?
Because there's a music called Leona Lewis. As a musician.
I keep bleeding.
That's the one.
Keep bleeding.
Yeah, that one.
So you keep calling the author of this book the...
Ilona Lewis.
That's so funny, but it's not.
Ilona Andrews.
Okay, so Ilona Andrews.
So
and her husband.
Ilona Andrews, they dual write this.
So is her actual
dua.
name Ilona Andrews?
Whatever
Oh,
that's
okay.
called.
A pseudonym.
Do we know what their real names are? Do you ever know what the real names of the author
I think
are?
her real name's Ilona.
Oh.
Maybe his is Andrew.
Could be.
That's so smart if that's the case.
Probably is.
I mean,
I'll look it up, I guess.
Ours would be Kristen Michaels.
that's a good name.
That's not bad.
Erica Johns.
Erica John. That's actually not bad either.
Maria's single.
Burn For Me. I remember, okay, so here's the deal. We recorded all these episodes. We lost all these episodes.
Here's the thing. I thought we were going to just go ahead and pretend that never happened.
I kind of like calling it out.
And then you called it out.
It's so funny.
All right. So
I think it's so funny that
it wasn't our fault. There's a technical malfunction.
I think we bumped one of the wires.
By we, it's just Jay, because he sat there.
We can't
So
blame-
I'm
we
going to blame
cannot
Jay. I will blame Jay.
We cannot.
His
No,
name's
because he
Gordon.
left.
What?
I think his name's Gordon.
What
Her
about
name's Ilona.
I think Andrew's a better name for him.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that. Sorry.
Yeah, his name's Andrew now.
But either way, we recorded this like so long ago, and I read like half of this book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did I go back and read the rest of it?
No.
No.
You did?
No.
Oh.
I didn't. But I almost remember where we went with it.
This is like when, so remember how in the last episode, Shadow and Bone, you were talking about how you read all these books and that Erica didn't read Shadow and Bone. This is like what happened to me last time where I read all the books that we were going to cover. Like down to the wire, I was reading all of them. And I still did that and you didn't read it.
So what I'm hearing is that equal blame is to be...
No, just Kristen.
No, because I fucked up too.
Yeah, we all fucked up.
Like eventually we all fuck up.
You usually do though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably
I'm
our
usually the
worst.
good one.
This batch of episodes is
It's
probably our worst.
It's tough. We're like fucking busy. We're real people.
Dude,
we are fucking busy.
My life has been so busy.
Not even that. Like,
Work.
I already
weddings,
talked about these books.
houses.
Yeah, we already talked about the books.
I will say after we did this podcast the last time, I like did a skim read of the whole series because I was like, wait,
The whole series.
we're just talking
skim
about
read.
the first book.
It was just a skim read. It wasn't like a real like sit down read. It was like a
Okay.
light like
Yeah,
I
just,
flipped through like and I went to like
Searched
certain
sex in Kindle and then
these books aren't that smutty.
that's why you went so fast to skimming.
I went to scenes that I liked.
I'm on one today.
Fucking.
I like when you're on my side. Or like when we're both.
So I
together.
re-skimmed it,
Got it,
and
got
I
it.
was like, wow, this series is fucking dope.
Okay.
I
What's the
re-remembered.
name of this series?
Hidden Legacies.
It's the Hidden Legacies. Does it? Erica, I liked the first. I liked where it was going. The first one. I said I did want to read more, but I don't know if I'm into this like PI private investigator thing. Does that the whole fucking book?
It is,
series?
but like it's a plot device to like get into the drama.
I gotta
What's
say,
yeah.
this book has such a high rating.
Does it?
On Goodreads.
Yeah.
4.31.
Wow.
It's so high.
I never even like. How did you hear about it?
I mean,
She probably found it on Kindle.
Yeah.
I don't know where the
It's
fuck
just
I
this
find
this
shit.
part of the world in books I just don't know anything about. It's like the Nora Roberts section where I'm just like I don't know these.
Why does she have?
I just love. You know what I found out recently is I really like urban fantasy.
Okay, let's get into the genre.
Urban fantasy.
What does that mean?
Basically, it's set in real life, but there's a whole different like fantasy world within real life. Like it almost feels like a different fold.
By real life, you mean like set in our current world?
Yes,
as it is.
As it is,
but with the added like element.
There's another fold of
magic,
like, of magic.
and like.
And it varies sometimes. Like some urban fantasies, the people that are normies are aware of the fantasy, and some people are not.
Okay.
It varies. Some of it kind of like molds around it. Some of it doesn't.
That's why I find it weird too. It's like this book has magic in it, but it's set in the real world. And
So
it's also like,
does
everybody know about the magic?
They like do and they don't. They like know it exists to some degree, but they're kind of like in their own separate world. And there's like a whole caste system. And like what I really like about this series is eventually as you go on, like the true story here, you know, each book goes through like their own like plot or whatever. But the true story here is Nevada becoming her own house and like finally standing on her own.
So I guess we should do the 60 seconds. And
She doesn't actually become a house. I just want to say that. Now I know we talked about magic, but she doesn't like become a house.
She's House Baylor.
Yeah, she doesn't like physically form
Once
into
we
a house.
explain-
It's like
Though that would be sick.
Think of like Harry Potter, like House Slytherin and like House Gryffindor. It's like your family is a stature and it has its own like caste system.
Yeah, I like and I don't like urban fantasy, and I cannot for the life of me decide whether or not I like it or not. I just can't. I can't.
I can. Yep.
I just don't fucking know. I hate
I
real
feel
world
like
shit.
it's like only just dipping your toe in.
Yeah,
It's like if you're gonna go fantasy, go full out.
it's just like, how do you blend the real world with the fantasy?
That's what's so interesting about it.
Yeah,
Well,
and
then-
some people do
okay.
it well, but there's times where it's just like, are we not going to mention like?
But
the
you love
normal-
City of Bone. You love the Mortal Instruments series.
I love it because
that's urban fantasy.
If I can remember correctly, I read that like 8 years ago now. I loved it because of how they addressed like the real world, where it was just like, yeah, people are aware, or people aren't aware of this. Like they just don't know that it's happening.
Like Muggle things.
I would rather that.
I don't hate when like people don't know.
I want that. Like if it's a secret world within the real world, I'm cool with that.
that's
It's when
different.
it's like blending, where it's like humans are just fucking cool with fucking vampires and shit running
But
around.
there's usually a reason.
I don't know,
there's
man.
usually something with that where the people are scared of, like True Blood. Like they're
That's-
scared of vampires.
I love that. That's an example that I love. But if it's like, you mentioned one book that I haven't read, so I don't even know if it's actually like this, where in the city, like she works in the city and like, you know, the angels and shit.
Oh, that one's fucking cool too, though.
Yeah, but it's
because
like
he,
they're like
rules.
celebrities and
Yeah.
stuff, which it's like The Boys, how I think superheroes would actually be. I just hate the idea of it being like that, I guess. So I don't. Like reading it.
I love that how they integrate that, because I feel like it's like
I think if it's done well.
if it's done well.
Yeah. it
right,
depends
and I
on
think
how it's
most of these I've actually read hasn't done it in a way that I like yet. Like
Yeah.
Touch of Darkness was kind of like that, where the Greek gods were part
I
of
didn't like
normal
how they did
society, right? So like Hades owns a club, and
It was confusing.
Yeah.
it didn't help at all. It didn't add to the story at all. Whereas like Neon Gods made it better. You know, Neon Gods had it as like, we are sort of in the real world, but it's like we have Olympus and it's like it's like a parliament. It just, I'm going off topic, but it depends on how it's written, how it's like added in.
Yeah.
I feel like this one, reading it again, we have to do 6 seconds, but reading it, sometimes it felt a little too boring for all the stuff we had in there,
Yeah,
for all
I
the
agree.
magic.
I
You know,
agree.
it's like maybe
Yeah.
I didn't have as much of a payoff as I would have liked on the magic side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on
Got
that
a lot
note,
of the PI side. But
and on that note, 60 seconds. If you're new here, we're gonna do this thing where Erica's gonna explain the entire pot. That's, I literally feel high right now. Erica's gonna explain the entire plot summary of Burn for me in 60 seconds or less. I love when Erica does these. I can't remember how you did the first time.
I think she did okay.
No,
I
think
thought
she
I did good on this one.
No, I think she did okay.
I think this
We'll
was
see.
my best one ever,
Because she
and then
was-
I fucked it up.
Oh, okay, is that what we're gonna tell them? We're gonna say, "Oh, it was my
It was her
best one
best
ever,"
one,
and you'll
and we
never
lost
hear
it.
it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, we could have had it. The phones recorded them.
I'll have to go
Go
back
to the
and check.
phones. Go
All
to the
right.
phones.
You ready?
Sure.
Here we go. In 3, 2.
Okay, Nevada Baylor is a PI, and she is contracted by her employer, who like manages her mortgage and like basically like forces her to do shit. And she takes on this case of this guy that's like trying to burn the whole fucking city down. And on the other side of this, there's the guy that's actually burning all the shit down, his uncle, his aunt, I don't even know, his mom or somebody like that. Fucking talks to her brother and is like, hey, you gotta control this motherfucker.
30 seconds.
Mad Rogan is the guy. He's like, fuck, I don't want to do this, but he decides to do it anyways. And he's like a war hero, but he's also like kind of crazy too. And he meets up with Nevada. They don't like each other. It's enemies to
15
lovers.
seconds.
They go and they try to figure out like why this guy, and they try to find this guy, and he's trying to burn down the whole fucking city. And they eventually do capture him.
5 seconds to spare.
Say the line. Say the line.
And then a bunch of shit happens.
Yeah.
Does it though?
It does.
I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of shit that
A
happens.
bunch
at
of
the
shit
end.
happens.
Erica, that was really good.
Really
Yeah.
good. For a lot
To
of
be
swearing
fair,
too.
you had a second time go around at this, and you've been sitting there reading that
I
Laffy.
have not been sitting there.
You
reading
No,
it.
she was definitely
eyes glued on the
Listen,
page.
I don't know if she's
reading
doing
the
like wedding
synopsis.
stuff, but there was a whole different page open when you started, and
That's
I
what
was like,
she wants you
I
to
was like,
think.
I'm right next to her.
Yeah, but the words are hidden in the dress.
I was on Ilona Andrews. Fucking
I am a PI, and I know in the dress that she's looking at, there's little words that tell the whole synopsis of the story.
I'm just seeing a bunch of Goodreads reviews.
Yep, they're all
Oh, I see my
synopsises.
review.
No way. Really?
3 stars.
All right, well,
so the second book I rated it 5 stars.
well, let's break
Which
down
I
the
don't
first
do.
book.
Which I
Let's
don't
not
do
get
a
ahead
lot.
of ourselves.
I don't do a lot of 5-star reviews.
How many books are in the series?
3.
3, okay.
And then there's
That's nice. Not
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
expecting 20.
it's
I
a
was
trilogy.
expecting
It's a
20.
trilogy, and then
With
Here we go.
spin-offs.
Here we go.
With
There it
spin-offs.
is. How many are in the universe? How many books?
there's only 5 right now. So the
Right now.
second spin-off is her sister's trilogy.
Cool.
Which happens. That does happen in a lot of these
I
like,
just
books.
think this is going to end up being another 20
yeah,
booker.
20 book series.
No, because there's only 3 sisters. So I feel like she'll
3
do the
times
3
3.
sisters.
So 9?
That's 9.
9
Yeah.
books. Okay.
And then she'll give Matt Rogan a book, and then
No, because
fucking-
Mad Rogan's
It'll
Nevada's.
be a prequel.
That's their
It'll
3
be a
books.
prequel.
Okay. Well, let's just break this down a little bit because it's been a while. We start the book with we're following Ilona. Her name Nevada.
Nevada.
Holy shit, the author. So we start the book following. Well, actually, we start the book with a prologue.
Sure do.
And I was
I
listening
remember
to
the
the audiobook, so I couldn't skip it. The prologue actually started with Mad Rogan. It started with the mom of the
Asking.
So basically, this guy's burning down the city. You went over this, and his mom is like,
It's his
"I gotta,
mom.
yeah." She's like, "I gotta find my son. Like he's burning down the city. I'm gonna go talk to my cousin."
It's his cousin. Okay.
So it opens with the mom going to the cousin who is this Mad Rogan, this
Hate that
guy
name.
that's like, you know, like we in this point we know nothing about him. So it opens
Yeah.
with her being scared to talk to him, and you're like, oh god, this entity, he's like powerful, and like this is awesome.
I think they built Mad Rogan up pretty well.
I just hate
even
his
in
name.
the prologue they did.
I'm sorry.
Just
I
hates
hate his name. No, I like.
We can't talk about names.
No, yes, we
again.
fucking can. Listen. He can be as like domineering and scary and mysterious as he wants. But if you have to be called Mad Rogan,
So when he
You're
wins,
not cool.
when he like it does really well, this Rogan reigns.
Oh no.
you did not just do that.
No.
He's a heel now.
That was a wrestling pun.
He's a bad guy now.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he's actually like doing well in his acting.
Well, he's a hottie, so
He's
Mad
hottie.
Rogan, if we want to pretend he's...
So Rogan's his
Yeah.
last name.
Oh.
But Mad is not his first name.
Connor is.
Yeah, but that's his persona,
name's
man.
Connor.
He's Mad Rogan.
I like Connor better.
But it's interesting. That's not as, like, dark and, like, cool, you know?
Here.
We got Mad Rogan.
Through the
He's
book,
mad. He's crazy.
I also think this is the dumbest fucking name.
like tell me
I'm
if
not
I'm
saying
wrong,
it's not.
but there's no part in this book where we see him as a Mad Rogan. He's pretty contained.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
pretty like
Yeah.
if you're gonna have the name Mad Rogan, you have to be off the rails. Like you can't be a controlled. It's like the
think-
guy burning things down. I'd call him Mad Rogan.
So I
Yeah,
guess
what's that
I
guy's
guess
name?
he doesn't go into it
Adam?
in this book.
Adam. Okay.
so.
The
I
guy
think
burning
Adam.
everything down is Adam. Just so
I guess
everybody
it doesn't go into this book, but in the future books, you find out that he basically like leveled an entire city when he was in the military.
right, and that's like sort of touched upon, I think.
Maybe
again,
a couple
like-
cities.
knows. Yeah.
If I don't see that part of him come out a little, I'm not gonna believe that name.
Well, in the prologue, he is introduced, and I loved that. And then we jumped into the book. And chapter 1, this is why I don't like prologues, because I get invested in that and then we go into something else. And chapter 1 opens with Nevada, and it's one of her little PI gigs. Obviously, we got to set it up that she's a private investigator, and it's like she's watching this guy like cheat on his wife, and I'm like,
Very Jessica Jones.
already fucking hate this. Like, I'm just not into it. This is not my thing.
And we gotta also say that the audiobook did not help.
No. That was the worst part. Like, it sounded like a
We
older
do not
woman.
recommend this audiobook, because I also listened to it on
if
audio.
it was on script. I don't know. Maybe the
Same.
audio. It's a different narrator.
Oh, mine was
somewhere
on
else.
Hoopla. I couldn't get it on script for some
I don't
reason.
remember the narrator's name, and I don't want to throw the narrator under the
No.
bus. Either way, I didn't. Yeah, it was tough because she had an older voice, and I was reading a younger character.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but
It wasn't even more so like an older voice, just the way she pronounced things.
Yeah.
It felt like maybe she was trying to give that sort of noir kind of voice that would make sense to like the private eye era, like a noir kind of film noir shit.
I'm gonna have to listen to this.
But
Yeah.
she overpronounces the S's, and it's like,
Yeah, you pointed that out, and I was so
I'm sorry.
mad. I was
I'm
so mad.
sorry.
But after we learn a little bit about Nevada, she ends up getting called in by like this head honcho dude who's like, we have this case, we're looking for Adam. At this point, she has no idea this Mad Rogan exists, and we kind of don't know anything about that either. So kind of happening simultaneously, I would guess. But we have this case. You don't really have a choice. You have to go find Adam. And she's like, oh, you want me to go find the most dangerous man in the
guy
world?
who's definitely gonna
who's
kill me?
burning everything down. And my power is I can... And Nevada's power is she could tell when somebody's telling the truth.
Okay. Nevada's power. Nevada's power is super fucking cool as the book goes on, because she starts like so basically the end of this book ends with like, they've fucking whatever, and Mad Rogan kisses her, and then he's like, come away with me, and she's like, fuck no. She's like, what are you, out of your fucking mind? Like, I'm not dating you, like, whatever. And he was just like, all right, sick. And he's pissed. And then like the beginning of the next book, whatever, he sends her books on how to like study and stuff. So then she like studies, and she becomes like very powerful, and she can go into your mind and like make you talk, and she can like break down all the walls in your brain. Like, she can fucking just kill you. Like,
So she's got like telekinesis.
She's super powerful.
That's cool. But in the first book,
she has
chapter
she can
one,
just- she
she can
just
tell when people are telling the truth.
Yes.
And I remember reading that and being
but
like,
it becomes a bigger
sure. That's
thing.
all. I love that. I love that gets
I
developed.
like that it starts as like something that's like kind of cool,
Yeah.
but like not really useful. I guess it's useful
Okay,
in her
and
profession.
in her profession, it's very convenient.
Yeah, it's private. Convenient. I that was one thing that I admired and enjoyed about this book. I know I'm giving you shit. I'm saying, oh, she could tell the truth. I love this. Oh, don't get me
It's
twisted.
it's a cool power.
There was a part where somebody can control water, can spit ice, which I think is so funny. For many
Imagine
reasons.
like actual like ice picks being spit out, and
There's
just,
a
like,
lot of really
slicing
cool
into your
powers.
throat.
Yeah, like somebody
in this.
can spit ice, and it's like, but you only have a certain amount of water in your body, and she can't necessarily pull from other things. So I was like, wow, that is a really interesting way.
It's good to see
It's a really
the
stupid power.
But it's so hard to come
I
up
like
with.
that the authors came up with limitations.
Yes.
Because if you're gonna put their
Yes.
kind of magic and stuff in the real world,
Yes.
There's gonna be limitations.
there has to be limitations. Otherwise, like, they're unstoppable.
I
And that's a
couldn't
And
problem.
she
agree
burns
more.
out. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just keep using your power.
Right.
You burn out.
I love that, and I used to do this thing where I was like, "What's the dumbest superpowers that like you could possibly think of?" And growing up, I used to say like, "I wish I could spit glue." Like, how fucking dumb is
I
that?
think that's actually more useful than you
that
think.
doesn't make any sense to
'cause
me.
I was on set not too long ago, and Garrett literally turned to me, and he was like, "Kristen, now's the time where I wish you could also spit glue."
But like, I want to know where, out of all things you think of, glue,
I know, it's so dumb. I was trying to think of the worst
Gorilla
superpowers.
Glue style, or like
being able to dodge
Gorilla
rain
glue would be very nice.
Yeah, but
Gorilla
like,
glue.
imagine you like accidentally like cough up Gorilla Glue and you just glue your
Yeah.
mouth shut.
Okay, like I could dodge rain droplets. Like that's super awesome for me, but how does that help anybody else? Like those types.
So
of
there's
things.
a couple of ones that like you see in the book series. There's like guys who like can like grow stuff really well, and like there's just like a lot of like there's fire bringers.
Yeah.
There's people who can like manipulate like the main guy that like contracts Nevada. That's like the head guy. What is his name? Anderson or some shit? I don't even remember his name.
He
He's
wasn't
a
in there
shapeshift-
enough for me to remember his name.
He's a shapeshifter, so
That's
he can
cool.
take shape of anybody.
I love that.
Of anybody.
That's powerful.
It's very hard to come up with new superpowers.
You know?
Yeah,
Very
and
hard.
they're all so different.
That's not flying or mind power or at least rooted in those things.
And then so later in the series, it gets to be a problem because like I said, there's a cast, there's like, you know what I mean, and basically they pair people's houses up based off of like your superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
So Mad Rogan's telekinetic. And there's a lot of like sexual things you can do with that telekinesis, which is very nice.
See how she
now I
focuses on
see
that.
why she likes
But
the series.
telekinetics and Nevada's powers, I don't know what they refer to it as, but like those two don't match.
Yeah.
They don't mix well. So you'd want to do something that's along the lines of a telekinetic. So like there's
But
another
she can
girl
manipulate minds. She's telekinetic.
there's another girl
At that point,
that's
I didn't know.
it's not the same thing. It's like a different like part
Level.
of your body or whatever that you're using. I don't even know. They describe it. But so then there's another girl that like comes into play, I think in the third book, and she's an empath. So like telekinetics and empaths mix really well.
Interesting.
So it's like they're pairing people up based off of that so that your kids become really powerful too.
And
That's
it's
all,
interesting that whole aspect of like they only let themselves have a certain amount of kids
yeah.
because they don't want, as the
power.
line continues, them to be fighting over who's the next heir or who's
Yeah.
the next like head of
They
the
only
house.
have like 1 to 2 kids
Yeah.
per house.
But I thought it was cool that Nevada's like power in the first book was like, oh, you can and then she's going up against this man who like is like burning down the city. She's like, I have to find him. And then all of a sudden, Mad Rogan comes into play because he's also looking for him, and he like kidnaps her. And it's like,
Dude, that whole torture scene was kind of crazy.
and he's like trying to get into her mind.
I kind of loved it.
I loved
I
it
was like,
too.
wait, how are these people gonna like I loved that moment of me
The
being like, how
Stockholm
are these
syndrome part of
people
you.
gonna no, but how are these people eventually gonna like each other?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
sexual
this is-
tension.
I mean, he was trying to break down all of her walls, and then you could see him kind of like lighten a little bit when she let go of like a secret that was just like haunting her, and all of a sudden he's like, all right, there's more to this girl than I
Yeah.
imagined.
it's also
could
it just
skip-
shows her strength that instead of breaking,
Yeah,
she released something that was just as important, but it was important to her.
exactly.
And it's like, if you're willing to give that up so you don't give up this other thing,
Yeah.
that shows a lot of strength within you.
Exactly.
And so obviously he has admiration for her
It was
and just respect.
it was an interesting plot point.
Yeah.
And their relationship is really what interests me a lot in this book, is because of how it evolves over 3 books.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the first book, so like I think this was about where I like kind of left off, but we could skip forward. Like they end up having to work together to try to find Adam, because I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, it's detrimental that this dude is found. He's a
He's
problem.
literally gonna burn the whole city down.
So they work together, and at what point, like, do we get to how does this book end? Just so I can wrap my head around it. Do we remember?
There's a couple of moments where they like meet up with him and they get in some altercations, but eventually like they capture him
Okay.
after. But he kind of goes like cataclysmic,
Yeah.
and she brings him back down.
By
Is
she
Adam-
means Matt Rogan.
Do
Mad
we
Rogan,
end
yeah.
up finding? Oh, Mad Rogan goes.
Yeah, he goes
Because
crazy.
That's how he like captured. That's how they like subdue him, and then she brings him back down to like.
Okay.
I think she kisses him. I think
Yeah, I
that's
think
how
she
she
kisses
does
him.
it.
Does Adam become like a good guy, or is he?
No, he's bad the whole time.
He's just bad.
Isn't he just used as a
He's a pawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
pawn.
I was gonna ask what the reason.
Yeah, I think he's just more of a pawn from a bigger bad.
Okay.
That's
He's a
not
pawn.
really
So that's
developed yet.
essentially book 1. Here's what I really liked about the story overall. I like how I like the simplicity, and I'm not saying it's a simple story. I like the idea of this is a girl and this is a guy who have the same motive in mind but different ways of doing it, and they want to capture this guy. Right? It's that simple. It's just like, and then that's how they meet, and they hate each other first and they follow. I really enjoyed that simplicity of it all.
Because
I don't
then the
know.
rest of it is like
A lot
the
of it
confusion
complex.
about is like the the caste system, the magic world, the magics, the this, the that. Like it's all the other stuff that like. But truly, it's just them on the straight and narrow path through 3 books.
I
Of,
love
like,
that. I
we
love
need
that.
to figure out what's trying to like burn this city down right now.
It didn't feel tropey, I guess, is what maybe it's because I've read so many young adult books, not so many, but I've read the last 3 books that I've read have been young adult, and it's like, oh, the chosen one, oh, the love triangle, oh, and this one is
this felt like they were just general people. Yeah, they have this extra magic, but in this world, it's normal to have
Yeah.
magic stuff. It felt like just normal people just doing things that they have to do to figure out the end.
I don't like love the PI aspect of it. That
Same.
doesn't
That's
like
the one thing
matter to me.
I couldn't like.
But it makes
wrap my head
sense. Like,
around.
what else are you gonna do
Yeah.
if your superpower is you? Can
I would
tell
have
when
preferred
someone's
her to be an
actually-
actual cop.
or a fucking private investigators. No offense if you are one out there, I just don't care
If you
about
are
that.
one, that's so cool.
It is cool.
I wanted to be
but
a
at the
private
same-
investigator.
I just don't care about that profession. I like if it was like an FBI agent, like
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
think if it was, especially because in the
Or
beginning
like a
of the
special
book,
forces.
yeah,
Like
because in the beginning
that's
of the
cool.
book, Adam kills a cop. This is why the mom is going
Yeah.
out looking for Matt Rogan to be like, help me get my son, because he killed the cop.
Yeah.
He's gonna definitely be killed. They're not gonna just take him to jail. They're gonna murder him for murdering a cop. I would have liked to see her as a cop and be like that kind of like.
But at the same
fighting.
time, it makes sense because when you're a private investigator, you don't necessarily work.
You don't have to work for the cops.
She's
You-
working for her family.
You work around.
and it brings in that play where like, okay, they don't have a lot of money, and like this, it brings in the fact that like she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
He was like, you're either gonna go find him or we're gonna take all this money away from you. We're gonna take your
Yeah.
business away.
Yeah.
So I understand why. I guess that makes sense why we took the
It forced her to like,
to have to. If she was a cop, she literally could have been like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I got
You know?
bigger fish to fry.
And
or
yeah,
she'd be
maybe-
like, why doesn't this person who has those powers do it?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they could have been like, well, we're going to fire you. And she's like, okay. But her family would have been fine.
Yeah.
So it turns it into like a
I
family
think they did a
business.
really good job of making things make sense and
Yeah.
all the layers. Like
It's a conflict
of,
point
you
that
know-
helps us move the story along.
Totally.
for three books, like things just like played out correctly, and like there was at no point was I like, really, like we're doing this, like it was all just like, all right, like this makes sense, like even what she like owns, like that plot of land or whatever, eventually like Rogan buys like the whole plot around it.
Aw.
And then eventually
He's cute. He does a lot of like big grand gestures.
he buys her mortgage because
I don't know
eventually
about that.
so listen to this, he buys her mortgage because he's like, somebody else is gonna buy this and they're gonna leverage this against you.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm protecting you by doing this
Every
but there's
time.
always like a fight
but
between them.
Why does the man have to come in and save her? I don't know.
That's the thing. Every time we talk about these books that Erica
It's always
reads,
like, yeah,
it's
The guy is the one that
so
saves her.
Fucking like, okay,
but she's the one who ends up being the hero.
fine. I
Right.
have something to admit that I don't know that I'm necessarily proud of. What is it called? A guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
I watch. What is it called? I watch a show that is actually books, so that's funny. I'm not necessarily proud of this, but Virgin River on Netflix is one of my favorite shows right now.
I haven't watched the last season.
I'm on episode 4.
I've never watched this show. I have no interest.
Jack is so hot. Okay,
It's
I'm
very
not gonna get into
sad.
this. I'm not
It's a
gonna
very
get.
sad show.
Sometimes it's very Hallmarky, and that's
I feel like I
every
can't
time.
deal with those kind of shows where like a girl moves to small town and like has to
So,
navigate like the small town thing 'cause she's from a
Every
city.
time we talk
has
about
a
these
troubled
books,
past that she's running away from.
this is what I think of.
The
I
only
think of
the
these
only
types of
story
movies.
that I like of that is Safe Haven.
Okay,
Nicholas Sparks, but that has some drama to
Just
it.
try Virgin River.
No.
I'm gonna make us do a podcast.
Well,
on it.
I will say though, what I liked about this book, going back to the book because Virgin River doesn't matter.
I'm gonna make us do a podcast on it.
I liked her family.
Yeah,
And I think
great
like, the
dynamic.
fact that she had to save her family, and then we get a glimpse of how great her family
Yeah.
is, because we always get that in books where it's like I have to protect my family, but like you don't get any backstory from them, and they don't
The
matter.
family's awesome.
The family,
Yes.
the mom, the grandma, like they all have these great, like even the cousin, the brother, like they all have these cool little quirks about themselves that adds to the story and just bumps up the love they
grandma's
have.
fucking
The
hilarious.
grandma's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I was, and also the dialogue in this book was so well written. There was very ebb and flow. It was, I mean, like how
It's not
dialogue.
cheesy.
It's just how dialogue should be. It felt
Yeah.
real. It
Yeah.
felt good. And speaking of the family, I mean, I mentioned this before our podcast went away, but I kind of fan casted them as I was going, which is something I fucking never do.
Did we talk about this last time?
We did. I
didn't remember.
Wow. I guess I didn't change your life as much as I thought I did.
No.
Here's kind of my fan cast for Burn for Me.
Oh, wait,
for
yes, we did talk about
the
this. I remember
family. The grandma. I saw the grandma as that fashion designer from The Incredibles.
From The Incredibles. Yes, I remember.
Which I don't even know if that fashion designer is supposed to be a man or a woman in the movie. I don't know that I care.
believe it's a woman,
But
it doesn't
either
matter.
way, I forgot.
Edna.
Edna. I think that the grandma is Edna.
I love her.
Like, that's how I pictured her. Is this how you're supposed to do fan casting? I think I'm doing
No,
great.
I mean, I didn't think you'd fan cast a cartoon.
Rogan buys her a tank at one point.
Dude, imagine
She
Edna.
fucking lives for it.
Imagine Edna busting through in a tank. You can, because that would happen.
Yeah.
But
She
her power is like she's really good with mechanics.
Wait, so also, hold
cool.
on.
So
Can we
that's
talk
her,
about also,
like-
As a grandma.
isn't Nevada's power and her family's power, aren't they all hiding it?
Yes.
So they're hiding it for some reason.
Because they're one of two families that have this power.
Right, it's very little of them.
Yeah.
So they don't, and she doesn't, Nevada doesn't know that at this time.
Right.
And then the grandma is Tremaine. It's like House Tremaine. And she's like a bad lady. So she's kind of one of the bad people in book 3.
Wait, grandma turns out to be bad?
Not that grandma, her like
Oh,
other.
thank God. I was
her
gonna say
father's,
Edna.
Can't be
her father's
mad.
mother.
Yeah. Okay. And then I saw Adam as like a younger Chad Michael Murray.
I get that. I do get that one.
Adam, yeah, I see
Like
that.
a hottie,
I see that.
but
I see
not
that.
too over the top muscular.
Yeah, no. I see him as a lanky sort of, but still chiseled and nice, and he has that
Yeah.
quirky little sassy attitude.
Like not a Nathan, but I forget what his
Nathan.
name even was in that show.
He
One
could
Tree
be-
Hill.
Oh, I
It
didn't
was
watch One Tree
Nathan
Hill.
and I forget.
When
what
I
his
think of
name
Chad Michael Murray, I think of him from when he was on Dawson's Creek.
is. No, he wasn't on that.
Yes, he was.
He was?
I watched that entire show so many times. Yes, he was.
I thought he was One Tree Hill guy.
He was, but he made a little
he
made a
made
little.
appearance.
Who's
yeah.
Jackson Teller? What's his face from Sons
Sons of Anarchy? I've never watched the
This is
show.
who you
name?
pictured? This is who you
What's his-
pictured?
Charlie Hunnam.
You pictured
Like
Charlie.
a young Charlie
For
Hunnam.
Adam?
Yeah.
I don't know why I was picturing
I'm
a
done with
blonde.
yours. No,
All right.
I pictured blonde too.
Great.
Charlie Hunnam's blonde too.
I was picturing Helena Bonham Carter. I can't say her name. Helena Bonham Carter as the mom. Okay.
Yep, I see that.
Agree or disagree, Erica?
A young Helen Bottom Carter, maybe. Like a younger.
Why?
Because she's old.
Why?
Okay, ageism.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
And then the daughter, I could not think of a single
Nevada?
person. Yeah, Nevada, I could not think of a single
I
person
guess
who
she's not
had
that old.
blonde hair and was dark skinned who wasn't like a Latina.
She's too tall, I think, but like Charlize Theron.
Oh yeah, you
I
did
love
mention
Charlize Theron.
like a younger Charlize
Younger,
Theron.
yeah, from
Charlize
like
Theron.
Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah.
I don't know any of her older work, so
Mighty Joe Young's my favorite one.
oh, okay.
you didn't watch
she's
Disney.
South African too.
Yeah, she's South African.
So
I think that's all I got. What else did I put? in
What about
here?
Matt Rogan?
Mad Rogan.
I said this. You guys wouldn't understand the reference, but Roland from the Dark Tower series. I know it's another fictional
Yes,
character.
we searched it. Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember now. I didn't cast. I'm not good at casting.
I
people.
picture, you know what I picture? Like a cowboy kind of guy, like
Yeah.
gritty, the
Gritty.
hat down below the eyes.
I don't picture
trench
I don't
coat,
picture cowboy.
gritty.
I picture like a
maybe
Vietnam
a lot
vet.
of maybe a lot of rings and like fucking bloody knuckles. That's what I picture.
No. I
Yep.
picture a military man.
Nah, that's boring.
Clean cut.
It's boring.
He is a military man.
Yeah, but I don't like boring. I want
I think he's
someone
got some
like
scruff.
That
I
doesn't
want
mean he's
weird.
boring.
that's so boring.
To me, it adds
in a
to
story,
the-
not in real life. If you're a military guy watching this, I'm sorry, I'm not calling you boring.
I mean, just call me if you're a military man.
Maria, no. As I'm reading through these notes, the last thing that I put on my notes, Erica says, checking guys out as they're about to kill you. Hate that.
Oh yes, I remember that we didn't like how when characters do this, that let's say they have a moment where it's like he's about to kill you, right? He's just like coming at you. He's like, why? But why am I attracted to this?
Yes, I hate that.
But he's coming at me with murderous eyes, but why am I attracted
When
to
she
it?
first meets Mad Rogan, it's like in a mall, and she literally is.
He starts chasing her.
Yeah, she's scared for her life, running away from him. And there's this moment where she turns and sees him, and he's coming at her. And there's this moment where she's just like, "But why am I so attracted to him? And
I
like,
hate
what
it.
would he look like without a shirt on?"
It's like what kind of thought process?
You know what I'm thinking of? Fuck.
oh, she's still doing this fan
Yeah,
casting?
she's yep. Mm-hmm.
I was wondering where she went.
She went to fan cast world.
Tom Hardy.
I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
I'll
who
accept-
I was thinking of.
I hope they make this a movie just for that.
Tom Hardy.
I didn't know Tom Hardy.
Hey,
Tom Hardy was what I was
hey,
thinking
other
of.
producers out there who want to make movies, Burn for Me is great. Make sure you cast Edna as the grandmother. And
she must
Edna
be
only.
CG'd.
And no, that would be so funny.
Yeah.
Do we have any recommendations?
Urban fantasy again. Like I'm still kind of getting into this genre. I've done like kind of like urban fantasy like erotica ones. Suzanne Wright is one of my favorite like urban fantasy ones. Hers are really cool. She has the one I've done this one a shit ton of times. The Dark and You series. It's with demons and they're like in the Las Vegas underground. It's very cool. She has an entire like couple series of shifter books that are very cool. Again, urban fantasy.
How many?
Would Angel's Blood be part
20.
of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Angel's Blood. I was going to say the Guild Hunter series by
Nalini.
Nalini?
Nalini. There's no G in her name.
Linguini. I could go for a linguini.
Nalini.
Oh.
Nalini
Singh.
Yeah.
There's
no Nalini.
Lily Singh.
Nalini Singh.
Oh.
Nalini. So the Guild Hunter series is one of my favorite series of all time. It is perfection personified. Like it's seriously like immaculate.
Okay.
It is. It truly is.
It is. Hands down. It is.
I am gonna start reading the Magic Bite series, which is her Ilona Andrews Kate Daniels series, which is their Hallmark series. That's like the one that put them on the map. That's a more famous series.
Got it.
I am gonna start reading that. I heard there's a very slow burn in it. I'm assuming it's gonna be the same thing as this one.
From what I'm seeing over your shoulder, their covers don't get better, huh?
No, they're all. I kind of like them though because
Brutal.
they're kind of like 90s trash.
Yeah, it's kitschy, but like the thing is, like, if you're trying to get me to like it right now, I'm not gonna pick that book up.
I know.
I
just
judge by
like,
the cover. I judge real
I mean,
hard.
like these are
I do too.
ridiculous.
We all do.
That's is he wearing pants?
Nalini Singh also has the Psy Changeling series that's like a 30 book series. I don't know when this lady has fucking time to write all these books. But she
That's
also
what I think
has
about the Crave series.
Tracy Wolf. That's all she does right now.
Yeah.
She's just cranking them out.
I think they live in those worlds in their heads. There's no other way.
I think they just spend all their time doing it.
Yeah. Which I
anyways,
honestly think is so fucking cool. But
I mean, that's a dream, but
yeah.
I really, 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 really like Jeannie Frost. She does the original one. I a lot of you guys have read it because I recommended it. But the Wicked All Night or the Night Rebel series, that one's really, really awesome. I don't think we did a thing on it. Also, is a very
You guys all read
peachy-
it because I recommended it.
No, a bunch of people did.
Oh, they're
a day
dumb.
after her reel of like, you're welcome.
That was fucking hysterical. Jeannie Frost, the Night Huntress series. I think it's like 10 books or something like that.
Of course.
Awesome series. It's about vampires though.
I think last time we asked you for like just a single, and you couldn't come up with one.
That was for a different episode.
So basically, if you are interested in the urban fantasy genre, I have tons and tons of ones that I could give to you. Just message us and I will
'cause she knows more than we
gladly
do.
give you. If you give me like literally like I want an urban fantasy with a demon that does this, I will figure
you
something
do
out
that?
for you.
Why do you make out with dogs? Stop! Ew! Stop it!
Get out of here.
Is that it? Is that it?
Because I won't kiss her
You
like that
probably
at
have
home.
so many more. There it is.
How could I forget the Cressley Cole series? My favorite series, The Immortals After
All
Dark.
these sound as if they're your favorite series.
These are like literally these are
the,
all my
the
favorite.
for realsies. This
All
is
right.
fine.
All
Fair.
of my favorite series are urban fantasies.
That's awesome. That's good to know.
So I like didn't know that I'm obsessed with it, but I am.
Now
I'm
you
glad
do.
you found your thing.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
if anybody else also has any more, do you have any recommendations?
No, not in this world.
I didn't want to.
Well, the only other urban fantasy I've read is the first book in City of Bones. That Mortal Instruments one.
I really liked.
I think we're gonna cover it.
I really liked the Mortal Instruments when I read it, but again, I read it so long ago.
Xena.
And it was when I first started like getting
Yeah.
into reading, and I was driving to
You don't
WWE
know.
every day.
I had the physical book when it first came out. Like I was part of it. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But I only ever read book one, and I don't know. You know what it was? When they did the whole sibling thing.
I know.
The incest thing. I was like, fuck that.
we could talk about. We'll talk. We're
gonna cover it.
I
We're
think
gonna
we
have
should
to
do the
cover it.
series because I don't think it's what you. I don't think
It's not. I know it changes.
not
but
Cersei.
it's
No,
like,
I know. I understand. No,
It's not Cersei Jamie.
No.
No.
That was actually done well. Like
Oh.
Oh, so this is not done.
So
well?
you heard it first. Kristen condones incest.
no, absolutely not. No, I just
No,
think that
what
that
happened
story
was like
made.
she used it as a plot point to
Yeah.
sort of like separate them. It's like, oh, she's
Yeah.
actually your sister. And
Whereas
it's
in
like,
Game of Thrones, like they knew it was fucking
they
gross.
from the get go they did it.
Yeah. All right. Any other recommendations?
No.
Nope.
That's
Audi
it.
5000.
Again, if you're interested, let me know and I'll give you all the recs.
Yeah, head on over to our Instagram, books_n_Betches, BETCHES.
I had to spell it.
Or
Or
follow, or slash
And / or
follow us on
the YouTube.
subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. Just look up Books and Betches. Actually, we're putting out content, like real fucking Bookstagram content. Sparsely.
You mean booktube?
Oh, sorry, BookTube content. Sparsely.
Sparsely.
We
I
all
can't-
have jobs.
I have a very demanding TV job.
Yes,
as
same.
do you.
All right, thanks for joining us, and I guess we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.